how to fix a muddy mix. Kind of funny rhyme. And in this video, I'm going to show you my 3-step formula on how I am achieving crystal clear mixes every single time that I produce. And here's the track that we're going to be working with. And I'm going to break down every little detail and every technique that I used to get a clean sounding mix. And it's not even mixed like at all. So you're going to see the power of those techniques. So let's check the track. Alright, so that was the track. Really nice one. I like it a lot. I'm going to play it on my newest DJ sets. So for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Vlad and I create superstar music producers. If you're interested in music coaching and you want to work on your production mix and sound design, music business skills, then all the links are down below. Feel free to book a call or send me a message. And without further talking, let's get started with the video. So I have prepared a little presentation for you so you can have some visuals to better understand the topic. So the most common thing that I see when I mix for clients, when I work with people, even like myself like a while ago, we tend to have like too many sounds in the mix. And the problem with that is that the listener, he can't focus. Like he doesn't understand where his focus, where his attention should go. And this is problematic. And not just it's like hard to listen to such tracks, but it's also hard to mix, right? But when we turn this around and we make our arrangement simple, we get clean sound. And it's really, really easy to mix when you just have like a couple of main elements like kick, bass, leads, vocals. That's it. Maybe chords, maybe effects, and that's pretty much it. So number one is going to be the arrangements. Let's hop back into Ableton, and I just want to show you this like first part of the drop. It's really simple. The only thing that is playing here is just like one lead sound and some like hits, like hit effects that we have here. So if you listen, like it still sounds full, nice, but it's so simple, right? So let's talk a little bit about this part. I did some techniques here to make it sound cleaner, but if we take a look at the arrangement, it looks pretty busy. But one of the things that we could do here, and one of the things that you can learn, is that you can have a lot of sounds in your arrangement, like for sure, it's not like a problem. But if it works, it works. But the thing to keep in mind is you can split your arrangement. So let's say that we have some sounds here, right? So we have something like this, and let's pretend that those are the sounds that we have. So this is like one sound, and then we are putting something on top. That's like sound number 2, right? And if we put too many of these sounds, that's like, let's pretend like 4, and this is going to represent like sound 2, sound 3, and so on. So that's like too busy, like that's too many sounds that we have. So what we can do instead, for example, if we decide that, okay, we're going to remove this one, in this case, we're going to remove this one, maybe here, we're also going to remove something like this, right? So the key here is to keep the arrangement like simple, something like this. So maybe here we can also remove this guy, and yeah, so something like this. So instead of having like all of the sounds playing at the same time, you just split your melodies, you split your chords into different elements that are playing at the same time. Maybe you can stack them on top of each other, but you can see that still, like not a lot of sounds are playing at the same time. I still have like some gaps here, and if I play like each element one by one, so let's say like this. So let's play those 2 lead sounds. So you can see and you can hear that they are not clashing, they are not overlapping. And that's really the key here. So as you can see, there's one more lead sound here. And then again, those little sounds, like for example, this piano sound, those are just the fills. And then again, same goes for every single sound here. So they are not overlapping. So I'm just using the space in the arrangement to add more power to, you know, just if I want to put an emphasis on something and things like that. But the key here is to having a lot of sounds, but spread them through the arrangement. That's really the key. So you cannot have too many sounds playing at the same time, because otherwise it's just going to sound like, it's going to sound muddy. It's going to be hard to mix and so on. But this way. And then after that, this sound starts to play. So it's like, it's really simple, but still, like the arrangement, it's quite busy. I would say that I have a little bit too much in terms of the sounds, but with the techniques that I'm going to show you really soon, you're going to be able to make it work. Okay, so that's one of the things that I want to talk about. And then to add something on top of that, it's going to be the length of the elements. So when you have, let's say, like kick and the bass, and it's not just for the kick and the bass, it's literally like for every single element. So that's going to be like the kick, and that's going to be the bass. So the thing is that in the mix, we have a limited amount of space. If you see here, we can do like this and like this. So in the mix, let's pretend that this is our mix. We have limited amount of space. So if our elements, whether it's like lead sound, whether it's kick or the bass, could be literally anything, the mix, the space is limited. And if your instruments like kick and the bass, if they overlap with each other, it's going to sound muddy. So in this case, we really have to pay a lot of attention to the length of the elements. So for example, we can shorten the kick, and then we're going to have enough space for our bass, or we could do vice versa and lengthen the kick and do like this, right? So you get the idea. And to show you this example, it's going to be really, really simple. So this is the kick and this is the bass. Let's remove all of the spatial effects. Right? So if I make my kick too long, like it sounds really bad, but that's the whole point, right? And the same goes for your lead sounds, like for everything else. That's like super, super crucial thing to keep in mind, because if you don't do this thing right, you're never going to be able to achieve clean mixes. So really pay attention to the envelope, the attack, decay, sustain, and release, not just for the kick and the bass, but for the drums, for the lead sounds, chords, and everything, because that's what's creating groove in your tracks. Okay, so that was thing number one. Let's go to the next one. So the next one is going to be the sound selection, and this is like the second step, and this picture really represents the concept. So good sound selection means good and clean mix. So in this case, let's pretend that this is sound selection, which is basically like the foundation, right? If we have stable foundation, then our mix is going to sound good. But if let's say that this is your sound selection, shorten this, then like no matter what you do, if it sounds like crap, you're never going to be able to get a good mix. So what I saw quite a few times, like with the clients, with the students that I coached in all kinds of genres, is that people have bad sounds and they are trying to fix it. Even like, especially like in mixing, people ask me, hey, can you fix that? And I'm just telling the guy, hey, like it's not going to work like that, because the sounds are not there. The sounds are just not good. And like no matter what you do, it's just not gonna make sense. So I want you to pay attention. I'm just gonna peel like sounds one by one. So starting with the kick and the bass, like it doesn't really have any sort of processing here. Besides some like basic EQ on the bass, I don't have like any EQ like at all. The only thing that I have is just a bit of saturation on the. But then again, like it doesn't change a lot. So let me play you the drums. Like, pay attention to how everything sounds. Like, again, I'm not doing any additional processing, not even an EQ. All I did was pick the right sounds and then tweak the envelope. So the attack, decay, sustain, and release, and thing that we talked about in the previous like, points, basically, right? Okay, so that's for the hats. Now we can have another clap layer. The tambourine or the shaker. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then everything else is also sounding good, like without, again, any additional processing. It just sounds good. So if I play you the whole mix again, like all of the sounds, they just sound good because I picked the right sounds that work together in terms of like the frequency response, the sonic characteristics, and so on. It just sounds good. And that's really the secret. The secret is that there's no secret in mixing. So the tracks that I play in the club, I'm not even mixing them. Like, just the leveling, maybe just a tiny bit of EQ, saturation, that's it. Like, really, that's it. Once you learn that, then the mixing becomes so easy. And that was like such a hard thing for me to have a grasp on. So everything is balanced. I could talk a lot about the sound selection, but it's so simple that I just don't need to explain how much. I mean, the whole point, like how you understand, you pick the good sounds, they just sound good without any processing. If it sounds good without any processing, with the processing, you can take it to the next level. But that's the whole point about it. So picking the sounds that sound good, it's going to lead you to having a great, like, crystal clear sounding mix, like as this one, right? It just sounds good. It just sounds good because I have the good sound, like for the synths, for the drums, for the kick, and for the bass. So pay extra attention to that. Okay, and the final thing is going to be the automation. So this is my favorite one so far, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So the thing that I see a lot, like with beginners tracks and like even like more advanced guys like that I coach, is that they are forgetting about the movement. They are forgetting about the dynamics, contrast in their mixes and their tracks. And that's the thing. That's the thing that we can do with automation. It's not just that we are creating movement, but we're also creating contrast. We're making the mixes more interesting. And one of the things that you could do that I really want to show you is going to be this sound. So pay attention to those two sounds. So if you take a look, if you take a closer look, actually this one, adds this sound. You can see that I'm automating the filter cutoff, the frequency, when those two sounds are playing together. So if you listen, but if I remove this one, they're just gonna clash with each other, which is like not really that nice. So check it out. I mean, it's fine. It's not like a big deal, like it sounds like crap. But for example, when you need extra clarity in your tracks, when there's one element that is taking more power, more energy, and like more attention and focus, what you can do with other elements, so one of the things is just like simply using a filter, right? I'm going to show you like one more example. So what we can do here, so let's focus on this part, and we have put the filter on this one. So let's do something like this. Let's close the filter, and then we are going to open it, let's say again. And when they play together, right, it's so much more dynamic. It's so much more like interesting and professional when you do it this way. But if we don't do that, then like it's gonna sound like pretty pretty muddy, like in most cases. And this is the thing that you can apply to all of the sounds, because I did essentially the same thing on the bass line, right? Again, same example. If we have this this sound, let's say, so here, I'm going to increase the cutoff of the bass line, and it's just going to interfere with the lead sound. Right? It just sounds like really muddy. But if I close the filter, the bass line is going to be pretty closed. I mean, in terms of like the frequency, right? It's going to be really dark. And here, for example, when the lead sound is not playing, I'm able to open the filter back again. And this is what allows you to have like a crystal clear mix. So to summarize, is when you have an element which is playing, like two elements that are playing at the same time, depending on where you want the listener to focus, you either close the filter, or for example, you can do the same thing with the loudness, like with the gain. So I could put utility here, and then again, I could just do like this. Besides the filter, I could also automate something like this, right? Maybe bits. Yeah, something like this. So we have less frequencies that are playing at the same time, like in the same spectrum, and that's going to lead to us having a cleaner mix. But with the arrangement, again, like it's really simple, and this is such a simple thing, but like a lot of people forget about that, and because of that, their mixes, they lack dynamics, clarity, and so on. But as you see, you could have a lot of sounds in the mix, but if you do it this way, then it's going to be like really clean. That's the whole point of it. So yeah, that's like in a nutshell really everything that you have to know, because if you master those 3 steps, like those are the fundamentals of a great track. When it's going to come to mixing, like applying plugins, you don't need to do a lot. You don't need to do that a lot. That's my approach right now. Like I'm pretty minimalistic. Like the way I mix is just so simple, because I have the foundation right. And then like I could talk for hours about that, but those are like, again, the fundamentals, the key concepts. So just try it out in your music, and you're going to see like really big results with everything. So that's it. Okay, so as always, thank you for watching. Hope that you learned something new in this video. If you're interested in coaching, please hit me up. Click all the links down below, and I'll see you in the next video.